Yeah, if you start at the bottom, I'll help you from the top in a second. Because pretty much I'm done on this side, so I can just go ahead and grab the remainder of the heavy armor here. Because of course this thing is slightly faster. It has 24 big grinders instead of 3 small ones.
Yeah, I got 4 small ones. Come
4
on.
small ones, I'm sorry. I underestimated your ship. Although, if you look at the heavy armor, you can see it's almost gone.
This ship is more welding. It's just got the grinders in case.
Yeah, true, that's the same with the Rhino. I made it more for welding, and if you need to grind something away to weld something, you can do it with that, but it's not a full welding or grinding ship, so that's why I thought, well, let's make this one.
Yeah, scrap ship.
Yeah, I actually made it from components from the base that's like 70 clicks away.
Oh yeah, the one of the millions of those stations we found.
Yeah, the one that glitched and eventually made a copy. You did actually remove that copy, didn't you?
It should have got deleted.
But otherwise there might be a reason why we have so much lag.
No, cause it's 70 some odd kilometers out, so it shouldn't be affecting us here.
But it might be affecting the server, because it's like, what the hell is going on there? I don't know. And that might not be very helpful.
It'll be alright.
Okay, see. So yeah, if you can do the right side of the ship, I'll just do the left side and like grind one layer off, so it's 5 wide and I can just go through it with the ship.
Which side's the right side?
The other side.
There you already started.
The ship just doesn't really give a fuck.
I'm just going through everything.
Yeah. The ship in the way? Nah. Whatever, I'll just get rid of it, don't worry. The Gatling turrets are really in the way, by the way. Because I have to move slightly to get them, and I'm not quick enough to actually get them out, so I'm pretty sure I'm just burning them off at this point.
Melt them, whatever.
Yeah, melting and grinding, same thing. Yeah, let me get the other turrets. It's the only problem with this ship, it's slow as shit.
See, I got this ship so that it's fast.
Yeah, I flew in it. I personally, I think it's slightly too fast for a welding speed for my taste, but
you can adjust the thrusts.
true.
Or no, you can adjust the gyros.
Yeah, well, no, like the thrust is too much on the ship. You accelerate too quickly for my liking for a welding ship.
Oh yeah, it's like it's a jack of all trades type ship. I mean, it's not a dedicated welder or grinder. It's just something to
True.
when you got the small projects. Like for large ship that like this one here that you want to build, definitely would have a dedicated welding ship for it.
Yeah,
So
I'm gonna get my Rhino probably to make this ship.
So I like my dedicated welders to have like a big, like 3x3 or 4x4 grid, and then on the opposite side have a one single welder for tight spots. This guy is more of a salvage rescue ship.
Yeah, this ship is just a destruction ship.
Yeah, just a grinder. We're salvaging everything.
Just say, get out of my way, or I will destroy your ship. Talking about getting out of my way or I will destroy you, you might need to go to the other side.
You can't catch me, I'm good.
Yeah, but like I've got this in a few seconds.
No, I will beat you. No.
If you can do the thrusters and the Gatling guns on the other side, that would be really helpful. Because this thing is awful at getting those away. Because this thing's power is really in just moving in one direction and keeping going, because it's really too slow to move properly.
Yeah. Oh, this is
But
the
I mean,
dark side.
it is a really good heavy duty working ship though, because let's be honest, all those big machinery that they use on uh, like building sites, like in real life, they're also always really slow and stuff. So
Yeah.
it is a real good example of how a ship like that would look. But yeah,
Oh,
it's slightly annoying at some point.
I need some lights facing downwards. I can't see nothing on the dark side.
Just stop with welding, and you will actually create quite a bit of light.
Well, that's why I'm trying to find a thruster in the dark. Not that easy. There we go. I do like that lights don't kill. Well, there is no frames right now, but they don't kill the frame rate that much anymore.
True, because like you said, there's no frame rate to kill.
Yeah. But usually you lose like 20 or 30 frames for having lights on, but it's no different from having them on and off right now.
True.
And I think that's because of DX11.
If you would lose 20 frames right now, then you would be in big problem. 'Cause I don't know how many frames you're getting, but I'm getting 10.
Yeah, it's staying pretty constant at 10. Sometimes it'll dip to 7. Goes up to 12 a little bit, but yeah.
Yeah, that's something I also noticed. Yeah, it's really consistent.
Yeah. Which that's how I know they're actually, making improvements. Just, getting the frame rate back up is going to take quite a bit because there's a lot more code that they have to change up and shrink down to be optimal and all that junk.
True. Although I think that with the multiplayer update, they're also like taking stuff like that into consideration.
Oh yeah. And I'm pretty sure after planets get added, I don't think there are any more huge projects.
I don't know. I was also, I mean, of course, well, huge probably not, because what's probably bigger that you can add except planets, unless you want to actually make the planets rotate, which maybe they would do, make asteroids move and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think that's if they're gonna build something, add something huge, that might probably be the last huge thing. And of course, we all with planets like food and stuff, but it's game changing, but it's not hard on the system, I guess.
Yeah. They were talking about that in one of their blogs about food and all that stuff. They're
Yeah, because I like it's really funny how they added of course power, and then they were like, okay, now this is a thing that will make it harder to survive, and then they added solar panels, pretty much saying like, okay, never mind, just build a whole solar array and be done with it. And then they added oxygen, which is pretty much the same reason, like, oh yeah, it's gonna make it survival slightly more difficult. And then the oxygen farms, which pretty much were like, yeah, okay, fuck it again.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't need to be super difficult, but
True.
there should be a reason to have reactors.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, on stations and stuff, I don't see a problem with that. But I think it's more of not the amount of power they provide, but the amount they produce per second, so that solar arrays don't produce enough power to run 20 large thrusters on a ship. Well, they do, or they don't provide enough energy per second to run the thrusters constantly, as opposed to having reactors that run the thrusters wouldn't be an issue.
Yeah, like that. No, then of
So
course there would be a problem that you would actually have to make sure all your stations are connected to something if you want to play as realistic as possible. Because otherwise you will have to have thrusters on stations as well to keep them floating away.
Yeah, but on a station, to keep it stationary, you can use small thrusters because you're not moving it.
True.
But I haven't looked at the power usage on the jump drive yet, so hopefully that just uses a ton of energy at once.
It depends how far you want to jump. It uses the only thing I have a problem with jump drive is I was messing around with it a little bit. It does work really well. If you connect a ship to your jump drive with a landing gear stuff, you can actually work it pretty easily. So what I did is, the other way around also works. So I was working with a friend of mine. I came with a jump drive fully charged, and I just connected to his ship and jumped for it. So, but I mean, if you have a big ship, and like I was messing around, I had a big ship. The ship that's actually here to the left, and I put some other small ships on there with landing gears, and if I would just jump, all those small ships would come as well. So that works really well. The
Yeah,
only
that's
thing
good.
is, if you jump drive is only like 50% charged, and you want to jump something that would cost like 10% energy, you can't, because it has to be at least once fully recharged before you can use it. And in
Oh,
creative,
okay.
it doesn't automatically fully recharge, which I think is quite a waste, because batteries do just completely uh, what do you say, charge in a second. But
Yeah.
yeah, this thing doesn't, so it's really annoying.
Well, actually, didn't see low limit. Fuck, oh, I am at
Oh, and if
20.
you're actually looking at where I am right now, I won't be able to get the, or I could, but I would have to slightly move. I won't be able to get the connector off as easily, and I won't be able to get the top 2 layers of this ship off.
Yeah, just ride through. I'll come through and clean up.
At like the point where I'm right now, so if you could get start working on the top 2 layers, and then was it only 1 layer? It might only be 1 layer I'm not be able to get. Yeah, it's only 1 layer, so if you could just get the connector off in the bottom and just do the 1 layer on top.
Yep.
Because this ship is most efficient if you just do it like this, like I'm right now, just going straight through it
Yeah.
in a 5x5 area, and then slightly, I tried whatever I could, but I couldn't actually get the grinders to be bigger than the ship, so I would just be able to go straight through it. Something I can't right now. I have to back up a little bit and stuff like that.
Yeah. That's the thing is, I wish rotors weren't so buggy, because you could just put that and rotate it, and it'll make a bigger hole, plenty wide enough for your ship to get through.
True. But if you think about what I could have done is maybe move the grinders more to the front, and then put like grinders facing outwards instead of just forwards.
Yeah. I've done that with drills. I mean, well, I haven't even checked on drillings to see if they've ever fixed the indestructible blocks that are in there.
Oh no, they did fix the problem that I had, at least when I was using an auto miner, that it would get stuck because for some weird
Yeah.
reason it wasn't.
Yeah, it wouldn't break all the blocks.
Yeah. So like I said, if you could get that stuff on top, I'm not really sure if I have to back away for that or that you can actually get it without damaging me.
Oh, I'm good. I'm the best pilot in the world.
Well, at least you have welders in case you do break my stuff.
Oh, there's a little scratch. Oh, don't move. I just gotta weld this up.
I can actually do the stuff on the right there, because of course my thing will be able to go high enough for that. So if you could just get the 2 things on the left right now.
Left, go. There we go.
This ship is really actually made for a 2-man team. Like for now, I'm just doing the big stuff and you're actually cleaning up after me, which does make this ship a lot more efficient. Without you, this would take much longer, because I would have to either do first prep everything and then use this ship, or I would have to move this ship around, which is both not really nice options.
I made one ship that was basically a giant knife blade with just a string of grinders. I would use to cut up ships into smaller pieces to feed my grinder.
Ah, yeah. Yeah, I was also thinking about making a huge wall of just grinders and then just pushing a ship into it.
Yeah, that's what I had. I just had a giant pad, and I just had a 4-piston array that pushed ships into it. I just had to cut them up to make sure they would fit inside the pad that I had to grind them.
Oh yeah.
Worked real good.
Yeah, that would also be kind of useful here. Just pushing all those stations in there.
Oh, yeah, I was playing as a pirate, so I'd fly out and capture all the cargo ships and just bring them back and feed them to my grinder.
Yeah, I would also play as a pirate more often actually. I would first be a miner and then I would get sick of it and I would build my jackdaw, which I named my ship, which had like a rotor and 2 like 4 pistons attached to it, in sets of 2. So then those pistons would push outwards, and on the end of the piston would be a decoy, and the rotors would start spinning. And if I spin it at just the right speed, the rockets wouldn't be able to get a lock on it.
Yeah.
So, and the trick is with it, if you ever go after the transport, military transport, if you go to the back and you use your missile turret and you let it shoot by itself, it will actually find the weak spot, which is just a small area, which is really badly covered, and if you shoot it like with 4 or 5 rockets, it will actually take out the main reactor and just turn the whole ship off. So you actually don't have to fight, you just have to fire a few well-placed shots with your turret and it will take care of it.
Oh, nice.
And the ship wouldn't look onto me because I had the decoys that it would try to hit, and those were spinning, so yeah, that ship was, it wasn't vicious or anything, it wasn't strong or anything, it was just really smart.
I had one that when they added projectors you could keep remaking them. I made a little it was thruster, battery, and a decoy. And it was just one thruster to fire straight. I'd make it and shoot it off so that the ship was always tracking those while I came in and stole everything.
Oh yeah, I realized at a really quick point that if you would be able to make decoys it couldn't hit, it wouldn't take that much supply, so that's when the decoy and the rotor would come in.
Yeah.
Because it didn't know what to do about the spinning decoys. Normally it would try to track your path, but with this thing it just couldn't. It was just really confused.
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, that's really funny. So it just take military transport out with like 5 missile shots. And I sometimes had a little bit of damage because those Gatling guns would sometimes be able to get the decoy slightly better. But the missiles were just useless against it. And then it had a landing gear on the front, so I would just when the ship was destroyed, I would or at least the reactor was destroyed, I would just connect my landing gear up to it and start pushing it home.
Yep, it's a latch on and inertial dampeners just stop it and then drag it back.
Yeah. The only problem I had with these small decoys is it wouldn't, because you can't actually set owner to a decoy on a small ship for some weird reason. It actually wouldn't work in my case.
Oh.
I know, because I checked and it would only target like enemy parts and it wouldn't count as enemy parts because it wouldn't have an owner. So that's why I had made a big ship and not a small one. And that ship is really actually huge looking at it right now.
Yeah.
It was actually a lot bigger than this one. But it did actually add, it didn't used to have the solar panels, and it also has a lot of batteries it didn't used to have. So if you don't use this ship too often, it will actually recharge enough that you would probably be able to use a solar panel and power instead of actually using the reactors that are in there.
That's a lot of large thrusters though.
Oh yeah, it needs them as well.
I bet.
It really does. I used to have a mod installed, called Sage Industrial Thrusters, and they would be the ones pointing at front and back, because this ship is still kind of slow, and those industrial thrusters would slightly help.
Yeah, that's one thing I would like to see at some point. Just more variety in the thrusters.
You want at least stronger thrusters, because with large thrusters, nothing wrong with them if you have small ships. As soon as you have big ships, they're just not powerful enough.
Yeah, that larger ones. I'd like just like precision, really tiny ones that you can use just to keep something in position, instead of having to use the small thrusters on large ships.
Yeah, and yeah, more high-powered thrusters.
Oh yeah, it definitely is.
For the like that size big ships. Because this one is working pretty fine actually with just small ones, the Destroyer. And the ship we're grinding down right now, it also wasn't that bad. It was slightly slow, but wasn't that bad, especially just because it didn't have that many thrusters.
Yeah.
But the trading frigate, which the thing here is called, or trading flagship, I don't know what to call it, but that one is just really slow.